last week? Did you go running last week?
Uh, uh, yeah, yeah, it was very good indeed. It's I ran in a in a farm called Espírito Santo,
Okay.
Fazenda Espírito Santo.
I don't know
I
where
don't
that
know
is.
if it's near your house.
I have no idea. I
Uh,
could probably look it up afterwards. Fazenda do Espírito Santo. I don't really know this the farms right, but did they do anything else?
no, we after the race, I ran with my brother. We just stay there a little bit and cheer for the people that was winning the trophies. You know, the for the
Ah, okay.
categories
They
because
were better
you
than you.
yeah yeah, but the race was really heavy. You know, there was a lot of hills to run.
Okay,
And
I see where it is now. I looked it up. Okay, it's the other side of the
yes,
city. Okay, I'm like on the east side of the city. That's on the west side of the city. I see it now. Okay,
yes,
yeah,
yes, yes.
it's on the direction towards Cardiao. Okay.
You live like in downtown the city?
No, but everywhere's so near. In Indaiatuba, it's so because everyone there's more apartment blocks compared to Ireland. You know what I mean? Everything's near
Yeah.
the city. So if I wanted to walk to the city center, it would probably take me like maybe 40 minutes to walk if I'm going
Okay.
fast, or maybe an hour actually, an
It's
hour if
okay.
I'm walking. Yes, it's not so bad.
Walking, it's very near because here in São Paulo, in the capital, like if you walk like 40, 30 minutes, you can go like very far away, you know,
Yeah, we
because
just don't think about it. On the map it looks so much further away. I'm like, oh, that
yeah.
must take. I was like, that takes
And
probably 2 hours to get
something that
there.
I noticed, everything was like plain, you know,
Flat, you
all the
mean?
street, yes,
You know what I
flat.
mean?
Yes, the streets were all flat, you know. There was not a uh, hills everywhere like here in the
Yeah,
capital.
so it just depends where you go. So the main part of the city is very flat like this. So there's a part that's
Yes,
flat in the middle, and
yes,
then it goes down at the back towards the park. There's a place called Ecological Park. So there is a hill
yes.
there,
We
and
passed.
on the other side as well, there's a hill. So I'm on the other side of the hill. So when I want to go to the town, I actually have to go up a hill, and then it gets flat for ages. Mhm.
Yes.
It's like where I live is called a fruit park, Parque dos Frutos. So I'm kind of lucky
Parque
there's
das
no parking
Frutas.
for my house. Yeah.
Nice.
Um,
Uh, So it was very nice to go there. Like to, I never went to Indaiatuba, but I really feel like it was a good city to live in. You know,
yeah,
like
it
some
is.
place
I
that
can
you
notice
can
the
get
difference.
like a little bit far away from the capital and just uh, how can I say, stabilize yourself with your family there and
Well,
stay
yeah, well,
in the city.
it's just really that people see it similar to the good parts of Sao Paulo. Will say they see it as modern and clean and safe, and that's why people come to Indaiatuba, compared to the other cities in the
Mm-hmm.
region. It just depends where you live. You have those private condominiums as well. They're really well, they look really expensive to me. I guess they
Very,
are.
very expensive.
Yeah, because we don't have
They
those in Ireland.
probably are.
Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing all the houses are a million reais or something inside those ones. You know what I mean?
And
Well,
that
maybe
is
not a
cheap
million.
for if you buy a house, because here in the capital, if you have 1 million reais to buy a house, you can get something very expensive,
Small,
something very, how can I say, uh, look
luxurious. Is that the word
luxurious.
you're looking for?
Yes, that's
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, I think that's why people come here. So a lot of people who work in Sao Paulo have the money from their apartments, and their apartment might be really small and cost like 600,000 or
Yes,
something. And they're like,
yes,
oh, if I go,
exactly.
and they're like,
It's
if I go to
at
Indaiatuba, I
maximum
can get something bigger.
uh, 70 meter square, you know.
Yeah.
So when I went to Floripa to get to know my girlfriend's own family, I was speaking with her uncle, and he told me that they moved on to Floripa and bought the land for build the house for like 100,000 reais, and then they
Mm.
bought the house with the rest of the money. A total, it was around like 600,000, you know. And nowadays the house costs around 2 million.
Wow, yeah. Well, I know that happened too. So my sister-in-law did the same thing. So there's a condominium in here in Indaiatuba. It's a huge condominium. So
Yeah.
my father-in-law used to live there. My sister-in-law lives there still. But when I went there, I never seen anything like it. You know, the big
Uh-huh.
massive walls that check all the cars.
Yeah.
But there's like parks inside the condominium.
Wow.
So you go in, there's massive houses, and there's like lots of roads because it's so big. But you'll see like
Mm-hmm.
a lake there. You'll see there's other
Wow.
events inside. It's huge. It's like something in America. It's so wealthy. But my sister-in-law bought the land there, and they built their house. But I think when they went there initially, like, there was a house there, but it was like a really, really old, tiny house. And then they built their house in the other part. So the value just went up and up. So maybe
Yeah.
they bought the land for, we'll say, 300,000, something like that. But now to buy that house, it might be 2.5 million or 3 million.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Uh,
it's well worth what they invested. You know.
it is a good thing, but you have to know where to buy it, because about there in Floripa, uh, uh, lots of people are moving on to there, to live
Yeah.
in
Oh,
there,
because of the quality of life.
getting out of the big cities to live there, because the quality of the life you can have there is much cheaper. It's much better,
Sure. Well,
so
that's why people are
it's
living in
worth it.
Sao Paulo too. That's what I mean. I mean, I don't know. The best thing about Sao Paulo, I will say, is that you have more events. So, like when I went with
Yeah,
my
sure.
wife, you can go to the museum,
That's
and
true.
that's really nice. But
That is
those
true.
things can be expensive too. But at least you can be entertained on the weekend. When you go to Indaiatuba, there's not much entertainment. You know, it's more like
Yeah.
going to the restaurants. That's it. You know, there's nothing else
Hmm.
really to do. I will go to football matches sometimes, but the team's terrible.
Yeah,
And
I like playing soccer, but I don't really get the chance because you have to like gather a lot of friends,
well, that's hard, I'm thinking, too, in Sao Paulo, because everyone has to go around and get stuck in traffic sometimes, unless they're in your neighborhood.
Yeah,
So my
yeah.
friends were in my neighborhood, so I was very lucky. When I played football, we had green areas I was used to play. Then we played five-a-side football in a court, but it was near our
Mm-hmm.
house. So since it was near our house, we could go and play, you know. But I think that's so much more difficult in a big city. It's easy in Indaiatuba, I'm guessing, too, because everywhere is like between 20 minutes. The maximum distance
Yeah.
is 20 minutes anywhere, so you can easily get your friends.
Yeah, here in São Paulo, like we have lots of courts everywhere to play soccer,
A
and
lot less, I think, in general, because of the population. I think you don't have any, in my opinion. I can see the courts, but there's a little court, and you might think, now, how many people live in this region? 50,000, and there's one little court. You know what I mean? I'm from the suburbs of my
uh-huh.
city, and there's a soccer pitch, there's a rugby pitch, there's a hurling pitch, Gaelic football pitch. You know,
Yeah.
and there's an indoor court, so you can play all these different sports for 10,000 people. You know, less.
Hmm. Yeah, but here in São Paulo, the culture of soccer is very strong, but for other sports, it's much less weaker.
Yeah,
Like for
volleyball, I
basketball,
think. Yeah,
yeah,
I think it's
volleyball as
volleyball and
well.
basketball are the next ones. I don't like
Yeah,
basketball at
that's
all.
true.
I find it too boring. I think volleyball is actually exciting. Actually, I was actually listening to a podcast yesterday about a basketball player, Scottie Pippen, and
Scottie Pippen.
I don't really like basketball at all, but I was listening to some of the interview, and he goes, he doesn't like basketball anymore. He said they've ruined the game, and I was like, oh, this is interesting because I don't know anything about basketball, but they changed the system of scoring, so it's way easier to score in basketball than before, and you can't defend. And they said they made it an attacking sport, so there's no
It's
defense.
you can like have a strong defense, like the in basketball.
But he said you can't
eh,
anymore. That's what he
yeah,
said.
in
There's
the old
something
days,
about it.
like you used to have a much more physical game, and nowadays there is no
Physicality.
there's
Okay.
not that physicality
That's
in the
what
game.
that's why I don't like basketball. I think there's no physicality in the game, but also the scoring is so high, it seems irrelevant. So I think they said in the 1990s the scores were like 92 points to 96,
Yeah,
something like that. Now it's
nowadays it's like
110.
120,
Yeah. So,
130.
yeah, that's the
I
problem with the
seen that.
sport. And he just said the game is boring for that reason. He doesn't like it because defensive players get no credit,
Yeah,
something like that.
there in the US, it's the most popular game, I think. Yeah,
No, it's
or
still
is it
American
the
football.
American football,
So
the
they said that's what
NFL?
So that's what they showed in America too. All the attendances have gone down. But it seems like for every sport, so American football went down, basketball went down, ice hockey and baseball went down dramatically. But actually, soccer went up because no
Went
one
up.
used to watch soccer.
Yeah,
Now more
you
people do.
know that Messi went to the MLS league, yeah,
Yeah,
to the
Inter Miami.
yeah, Inter Miami,
Yeah, more people are
right?
watching. But I still preferred soccer was always my favorite sport, and I
Yeah, I
like
prefer.
rugby.
I think it's the most fun sport to play.
It's the easiest sport.
Soccer.
It's the easiest to play. So even in Ireland, you have hurling teams in Gaelic football are traditional sports. But those guys, if they're just playing around, they'll play soccer. Because when you play hurling, it's not like you have to really play the game. It's more physical. Well, soccer, you
Yeah.
can just mess around with your friends. It's easy. And also, soccer does not discriminate against your size. So
Yeah,
I'm
that's
five
true.
foot eight, or 1 meter 72, and I'm thin, around 60 kilograms. So I can play and play really well because I'm short and thin.
Yeah,
On the
it's
sports
like
I can.
the perfect physique to soccer, because for soccer I am very big. I'm like
What's your
uh,
height then? 1 meter what?
1 meter and 91
Oh
around
wow, yeah,
this.
you're tall. Yeah, a lot of
So
people say you're
for
tall.
soccer, I am not slow because I am not like very big. I am thin like you, but I am
Tall.
taller. So it's a little bit strange playing soccer than I would be to like playing basketball.
Yeah, if it's easier for you. Or again, if you played one of the Irish sports, if you played rugby, it was very popular, or hurling at Gaelic football, you have the advantage being tall because the ball comes in the air a lot. Big
Hmm.
advantage in those sports. In rugby, I played rugby as well. I could only play one position. I was that position because there's a position in rugby called the scrum half. It's the number 9. So he's the short guy and the skinny guy because he has to get the
Uh-huh.
ball. He has to take the ball from the ground. So it's easier to be short and agile and skinny.
Get the ball.
So and get the ball. So that's the first attacker. He's called an attacking player because he's the
Hmm.
first person to attack. But you don't have to tackle anyone, because the guys are way bigger than me. They would just flatten me too easily. So yeah,
Yeah,
you can't play.
and
But football, you actually
uh,
can play in any position, really. Even if you're tall, you could possibly play in any position. But if you
in
think about
any
it, it's
position, that's true.
it's nearly an advantage though in 3 positions. It's the center back positions. It's an advantage, goalkeeper and a forward. But
Center
it doesn't mean
back,
all
goalkeeper.
forwards don't need to be tall. Yeah. So it just depends. I watch my team play on the weekend, and during the weeks. My team, my local team, is actually Primavera, the Indaiatuba, and
Uh-huh.
I watch them because I like watching local soccer. Because growing up in Ireland, the Irish
Uh-huh.
league was really weak, but I still enjoy being in the stadium, even if it's a small stadium and there's not a many fans. So there's like 1,500 fans, and my team won. They won 1-0,
That
last
serves you.
minute goal. 95th minute goal, but they played terribly. The other team were better. They played a team called Sao Bento de Sorocaba. But Primavera are actually in the Paulista too. So if they get promoted, they
Uh-huh.
could go play in the top division. And they beat one of the clubs. The teams that got promoted last year they played against. It was Norwest and Velo Club, I think. And they beat Velo Club. They lost to Norwest, but that team weren't better than Primavera. So maybe next year.
Yeah. The culture between soccer and basketball here in Brazil, it's very different. Like, I feel like the about soccer when people are playing together, they're much more friendly and Pacific, playing like, let's have a good time playing. But when it comes to basketball, I say this because I used to play a lot of basketball because there is a court very near here in my house, like 5-10 minutes walking, and people in the basketball game tend to be much more aggressive and
Oh, really? Wow.
how can
That's
I say
surprising.
arrogant here in Brazil. And this
Okay.
is in most of the courts because also in the Ibirapuera and the Villa Lobos Park,
Yeah.
there are
Heard of that.
lots of courts of
Yeah.
basketball. And there's a lot of videos like fights going on about basketball.
Wow. Well, maybe
So
it's the American street kind of basketball where people
yeah,
like to elbow each
it
other or
is very
something.
similar. It is very similar. If you search in the YouTube, there's a lot of videos in those parks, like fights going on or people like
Oh,
trash
crazy.
talking.
Trash
Uh,
talking. Yeah, they learned that
s-
probably from
yeah.
American things.
So
Okay.
in soccer, there's none of that. People
Oh
are
wow. Well,
much more friendly.
I don't know how it works in Ireland. It's funny. Some soccer guys can be rough. Just like if you play in a proper team, okay, like
Mm-hmm.
an amateur team. Because when you're playing with your friends, you're only joking. There's no problems. But when you play in an amateur team, some of the teams from the inner city are bad. So again, it's like if you go to the inner city of Cork or inner city Dublin, guys are rougher and they might trash talk your elbow you. But that's like bad character. We don't like those people.
Yeah.
Gaelic football and hurling are extremely physical sports, and they're very they're amateur sports, but they're like professional because you train since you're 5 years old. You know, you'll always train with your local club, so you don't play with your friends. You never joke. It's always more serious. But sometimes there's physical fights in those sports too because it's such a physical game, you know. But you train the players. The players are trained for physicality. You're trained. Someone will they'll get a guy, and everyone will pull him, grab him, push him around the place, and you're not supposed to get angry because they're like it's a part of the game to not get
Yeah.
angry. So they
Yeah.
train
That's
you
true.
not to overreact. You know.
Yeah. There in Dayatuba, are there some clubs that have the Gaelic football or
No,
around here in
no.
São Paulo?
In Sao Paulo, there is one. I'm pretty sure someone started a Gaelic
Where it
football. I,
is?
I don't remember, but someone, because I looked it up, someone started, but I don't know if they still do it. Because again, you can't really do it because you need to have more teams, so it doesn't work. So it's really,
Yeah, I imagine.
we only really have Gaelic football and hurling teams outside Ireland in America, Canada, Australia. I think they're the ones who have proper teams. Like they'll
Hmm.
train people when they're younger, and they have their own leagues. So there's like a
To
New York
compete.
league. There's a Boston league as well in
Wow.
Gaelic football and hurling. And usually it's just the Irish communities play. So most players would be Irish or Irish parents or Irish grandparents. You know.
Yeah, that's sad because I see that it's not very popular, and I would like to watch it like in person to
Yeah,
see how it is
it's hard to
because I
start
like
something.
physical sports.
Yeah, it's more exciting. That's part of the reason. And that's rugby is too. So I like all these sports. I mean, I guess I always used to play soccer as a kid and watched it. And my dad was from England. That's why I used to watch soccer more. But mainly in Ireland, kids are brought up with hurling and Gaelic football, depending where you live. And some people are brought
Hmm.
up with rugby. But I like all four sports and I love the challenge. Because like rugby, there's a challenge. You have to get up the other side of the pitch. It's so physical and hard. It's like a battle. You know,
Yeah,
that's why I always don't like basketball. There's no battle there. It looks so ridiculous to me. I don't enjoy it then. And same with hurling. Even though you can hit the ball further up the pitch, it's very physical. You know,
yeah.
you appreciate it.
About basketball, this is the fun part because it's very physical, very aggressive. The games, it's fun to watch outside of it, but when you're on it playing, like you don't want to get hurt. Of course, like you wanted to compete, you are competitive, but you're not there to just kill your opponent, you
Yeah,
know.
that's what it seems. There's a problem there. Those matches might be more exciting to watch in Sao Paulo than the NBA because they're actually physically getting
Yeah.
angry with each other. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's like I saw a video that a player from the that was uh, pretended to be get drafted from the NBA came here from to São Paulo to play
Mm.
in one of these courts on some favelas, and to see if it was really physical. And it's very funny because that players like more than almost like 7 foot,
Oh
and the
wow.
other players are
Yeah.
not even like 6'5".
Yeah. Or you'd be a giant, of course.
Yeah,
They'd
so it's
stick out.
it's very strange. And I went some time long ago in the Villa Lobos Park to play a little bit to see how it was, and they're like just giant dudes, I am a
Yeah, you're
tall guy,
giant too. You're
but
191.
I feel like I'm
A
a
dwarf.
midget between
Yeah.
them.
You should see what I'm size. Then you should see my
It's very
size.
strange.
I told you I say I'm Japanese size because I'm so short.
Yes, because usually, like in work, in my personal life, I am taller comparing to people, so uh, I don't feel that way. So when you come to a guy that is much taller than you, it's very strange, It's
Yeah, it
like,
is. Well,
oh my
I'm
God,
gonna I'm gonna tell you in Brazil, I was so surprised, Nicholas, because I thought Brazilian men would be my size. I think in
yeah,
North Brazil people are very short, but
yeah,
in
it
South
is.
Brazil
That's true.
your diet changed. So it's really your diet. Because I realized some people have parents who are short, they're my size, but the kids are like way taller. So your diet changed dramatically. So what's
Hmm.
happening in Brazil? You get way more hormones in your food. So your
Mm,
beef has all the hormones, and then you eat the beef, and that's why you're getting taller. So in
wow.
our yeah, so Irish people eat more natural food. Our beef is the healthiest beef in the world, comes from Ireland because the cows eat grass and the milk is healthy and the cheese is healthy. So we're kind of not growing. We kind of, well, men are getting taller still in Ireland, but my friends are around my height. No one really grew. So
Wow.
when I came to Brazil, I was shocked at how tall everyone was. So I don't know what the average height is now. I'm like 1 meter 72. So that was the
Around
average
that,
height here. See, no, I think they're taller in Sao Paulo compared to
like
in Brazil. I,
175,
I would think
176.
I think in Ireland it's the same. It's like 176, 78. But Brazilians are more. There's a lot of guys here who are like over 180. So all my neighbors, they're all taller than me. They're all broader than me, and they're all fatter than me. I was like, what the hell is going on? That was the other thing
That
that
is very
shocked me.
strange.
So like around 40% of Brazilians are fat or very fat as well, and a lot of kids are fat, which is
Yeah,
surprising.
but and that is true. I see a lot of kids are really fat, and they shouldn't be like that. Like they should play more, like play with friends, like do some physical activities. Because I don't know if it's because of the smartphones they get to
It's a mixture.
just.
I don't. I think it's that reason too. But although people are eating more and drinking more than before, like eating more soda, and they're on their
Yeah,
smartphones
that's true.
more. But I also think that there's something like I think people say Menino de Predio or Enzo's. I think there's some guy in the Santa Catarina told me they're all Enzos. Oh no, he was from
Yeah,
Paraná.
The
The Enzos
Enzos
of the
and
world.
Valentinas.
Valentina's. I never heard of that
Yeah,
one.
it's the Enzo for the girls, the Valentina.
Valentina for the girls. Okay.
Valentina.
Okay, yeah. Well, they're the boys who don't go out of the apartment, and then they're kind of weird. I was talking to someone else as well, and he was saying people have a strange way of walking, like they're not walking properly anymore. And it's like, yeah, I noticed that in Brazil as well. Some men walk like this, and it's like, I think
Yeah,
you've
that
never
is
played
normal. My
sports.
brother walks like this. It's and
Really?
it is very strange because when you went to the race, he also runs like this,
He's a runner.
like a
Oh,
almost like a crab,
or a
with the
penguin,
foot like
or a
this.
pigeon.
And I
Yeah,
don't know if it's because of the formation of the foot, or if it has something to do with it, because I know that some children they walk like this during the most earlier phases, and
okay.
then they use like a boot to model the
To
shape
correct
of the
it.
foot to correct it,
Yeah,
so they can
well,
walk straighter.
that's usually not the penguin feet. That's usually flat foot. They have they have the special boots if your foot
Yeah,
is flat. They don't go the curve or
y-
at the end of the arch.
yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
that can happen too because there's something weird that I always assume it's kids who don't play sports because in Ireland we would just play outside all the time and you're running and you get moving, so you get the natural way of walking and running properly. While in
Uh-huh.
Brazil, I think those kids, those Enzos in the apartment, don't know how to walk. So then I look at those guys and I was like, why, how does he walk with his foot out or he walks in a very strange way? It's like, they must have never played sports, but you said your brother runs, right?
Yeah. So yeah, it is very strange because he don't usually runs a lot. Comparing the how can I say this, the how much kilometers I ran the week comparing to him, it's much bigger,
Oh, yeah, he run more than he
So
does. Okay. But he still
so
runs. He's still doing sport, I
yeah,
mean. But
yeah.
he still probably played football when he was younger or did basketball. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. So he's a little bit a little less taller than me, like 1 meter 85 around this. So, but he's bigger, he's stronger.
Yeah, broader. Okay.
So I don't know. I think
No, I
it
don't know
really
what happened.
depends.
But I noticed that more in Brazil. I just thought it was so weird. I was like, what? Well, so strange.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So about that C.S. Lewis book that you were reading, have you
Yeah,
finished it?
I finished it, but I'm really using it to translate more than understanding it deeply. Because
Mm-hmm.
when the books are philosophical or intellectual or theological, you have to think more, and I can't do that in Portuguese. So I was really just translating it, and I don't think I absorbed the information. You
Yeah,
understand? So that's a
yeah, that's
problem.
normal. A lot of books about philosophy that I've tried to read, try to read. It's very complicated because you have to dedicate a very long time to just one book
Yeah, just
understand and
study.
interpret the meaning to you, you know, about
I
like Nietzsche books,
Freud books. Yeah, there's so
Freud.
many. I do. I listen to people talking about philosophy, but I don't study it, and I don't want to. I don't want to study it
Yeah,
because
it's
I think
very
it's
hard.
too complicated, and and they challenge each other, and then you're like, you don't know what is the right system, and so I can't choose. I think maybe psychological books are better than
Yeah,
philosophical books, even though they can be related too. You
yeah,
know,
yeah, that's true. About the philosophy books, like you, not one. How can I say? One philosophy will be true for everything. Will be the
that's
right
true.
one.
That's what I mean. That's why they
So
challenge each
you
other.
just read the books like to interpret something and gather some value to your life, you know. So, but
That could be true, but then they're more
it's very
complicated.
hard. You have to dedicate a lot of time for this.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's more studying. That's why I don't really like philosophy books, but I like psychological books, and they
Yes.
might use some philosophy in them because they're nearly easier to understand, like understanding your basic emotions or why people are
Yes.
angry, why people are motivated. They can explain it very simply, while philosophy will go into the depth of everything, and then you don't want to know. No, that's what I
Yeah,
think.
like you said
Um,
about the Freud books, that he talks about the ego, the super ego, right?
yeah, but those ones are easy. They're more
So,
basic, can be
so
related to
yeah,
psychology too, so those are
and
okay.
it's easy to, like you said, to understand your inner emotions.
Yeah, we can understand
So
them afterwards. Some people don't. I don't think Brazilians do. Brazilians emotionally react way too quickly for everything, I think. There's this guy here,
yeah,
Jordan.
that's true.
You know Jordan Peterson? So
Yes,
you might know
yes,
him.
yes.
He's really good. I mean, his
The
books, he's the one called 12 Rules
12
for Life.
lessons.
Yeah, 12 lessons are rules or 12 lessons. So, but I mean, they're simple lessons, but they're good and he explains them. And it's simple,
Yes.
but it's fine. I don't remember them all. I remember rub a cat when you pass a cat. It's like, oh, I always do. I always, anyway.
I have to buy this book. I know it is very good, but I haven't read yet. I've bought a new book last week. I don't know if you ever heard about this one.
Oh, I know that guy. Yeah, he's really intense though. What's his name again? I
David
see
Goggins.
Goggins, David Goggins. He's an intense
Can hurt
person.
me.
Yeah, you can't hurt me. But he's so intense. He's like I think he's extremely driven and he can't stop. So I actually think he has some psychological problem because I don't think he knows how to rest. So he's interesting when
Yeah.
people talk to him, but he speaks in an intense way and he's all full of action and he doesn't want to stop with anything. So I think he's kind of blocking something out. I don't know what's wrong with him exactly. But I'm guessing he's an interesting person because he's just dedicated and moving all the time. He doesn't, you know?
Yeah, in the book, he explains a little bit more about his earlier phase as a toddler. Like he had a really rough childhood with his parents, mainly with his father. So it like created
Yeah.
like a block inside his mind, and so he can how can I say uh, uh,
Pode falar em português se você não sabe a
overcome
palavra.
overcome
Yeah, to overcome. Okay, okay,
to
okay.
overcome these traumas.
Yeah,
He has to like
be the
be
best,
moving on.
right?
No,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
just be the
Well,
best, but overcome himself in
sure,
every aspect, in
sure.
mainly the physical aspect. So the physical aspect like hardens his mind, you know.
Sure, but
So
anger is a drive. You know, I talk to people about emotion sometimes about anger, and it's like, why do you have emotion? It can drive you. But I'm going to tell you, I have two people before who were soldiers because he's a soldier too. One from Brazil and one in Turkey. The Brazilian guy's dad said this guy was a really intelligent guy. He didn't need to go into the army, okay? But his dad said, "Oh, you can't be a soldier. You won't be tough enough." He goes, "Okay." It just made him so angry. It's like, "I'm going to join the army." So he joined the army for a while because his dad, and another one was a woman, and her brother was in the army in Turkey. And he goes, "Oh, you can't be a soldier. You're a woman." He's like,
yeah.
"What did you say to me? What did you say to me? I'm going to be a soldier."
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Something really interesting that I've got from the book, it's that he says like you may not have a purpose in life. The only purpose that you might have is yourself, like to overcome yourself
Yeah, that's really cool.
in your challenges. Because I already saw it in some people, like they saying like, "Oh, so I have to found my purpose, found the true meaning
Yeah,
about life."
yeah, that's true
And
too.
then and
Find a
sometimes
job.
you don't really have to have this meaning,
Sure.
So
Just living the best life you can. Be happy with what you have. Otherwise, you might be frustrated and angry too.
yeah, and this is frustrating
Yeah, I think it
to
can
some
be.
people. Like know that you might don't have a purpose for your life. You might don't have a meaning. You know,
Mhm.
uh, you brought the Joe Rogan podcast.
I only said him because Joe. I think where I heard Goggins was on
The
his
Joe
podcast.
Rogan
Yeah.
podcast.
So
Yes, yes.
most of these people I heard actually from Joe Rogan first. Even Jordan Peterson, he was on Joe Rogan. Now he's everywhere. But it's just that you can find him doing those podcasts with all those really
It
interesting
is very
people.
good.
Um,
Um,
the Robert Barron guy as well. He never done the podcast, but he talks about philosophy and theology. So he's actually a Catholic bishop or priest. But I
mhm.
listen to him too. He's actually really deep and insightful as well, and he's very popular.
Oh, I didn't know him.
Yeah, because he wasn't. He's not
I
really
tried.
done many podcasts, but some people do interview him. I think Jordan Peterson did an interview together because Jordan Peterson is not religious, even though he talks about religion, and
Mhm.
Barron will talk about religious stuff. But it's not just
That's
religion; it's
interesting.
philosophy and everything
Uh,
else.
I I've heard a little some shorts about the Joe Rogan podcast, the one that David Goggins appeared on, but really like to hear into podcasts, mainly here in Brazil. But there are not lots of good podcasts, you know.
Oh, well,
Uh,
maybe it's, I don't know what you're looking for exactly. So I will tell you, I like a lot of
hmm,
interviewers. This a guy, Joe Rogan is still by far the best interviewer.
yeah,
He's
of
just
course.
he's so natural. Because there's other like Jordan Peterson does interviews, but he's more kind of formal. He speaks like a psychologist and he looking for questions like a psychologist. Joe Rogan has a natural way of talking to everyone, and it doesn't
Yeah,
matter who it is. So if he's talking to a UFC fighter and he's kind of dumb or whatever, he's brilliant with those guys. When he talks to a comedian, he jokes and he's funny. And when he talks to the intellectual, he's just as good, but he makes it more like for the layman. What's that? The Lego,
yeah,
or I guess the ordinary
isso,
people. He can express
yes.
it better. So he's very dynamic with his interviews. So I always find he's the best interviewer out of all the other interviewers I
Yeah.
listen to.
Here in Brazil, there are not lots of good podcasts. You know, the only one that I really like about it, that is a very intense person. I don't know if you ever heard of him. This one, o
Renato Trinta Oito. No, I never heard of this
Três
guy.
Oitão.
Let me see.
It's a guy that talks a lot about Bitcoin, about politics, about uh, how you can defend yourself from the state, you know, and
Okay.
protect your family. He talks about uh, uh,
But does he
religious
interview? And does he interview people or just talk about
No,
it?
no, he just talks about, and lots of people here want to interview him because he's very like polemic. Is
Yeah,
it
okay,
correct?
polemic. Yeah, yeah, he can have extreme views, yeah, in different things.
He
Yeah,
has
well, I don't like those ones less. So when people just give in, when they don't give interviews, I trust them less because then some people are deliberately polemic, right? They deliberately try to be extreme because you get way more people onto your platform, and these people can talk about things they don't know nothing about because it brings people onto their platform and they need more viewers. So I nearly prefer people who just do interviews. That's why most of my podcasts I listen to are interviewers. I do have some people who talk about healthcare, but I don't trust those either. I trust that, like when I look at alternative healthcare, like people talking about exercise and eating
hmm
and medication, I listen to people who give interviews because
hmm
then they're actually interviewing people. Because I realized that here in Brazil, my wife would listen to some people, and I was like, these guys are fake. Like my wife went to a guy in Campinas. His name was Peter Liu. He was a doctor, Chinese doctor who practices in Campinas, and
Oh,
he's
I
his
think I've
own
heard about him.
yeah, he's his own YouTube channel. And he talks about really interesting things. My wife's like, "Oh, this guy's really good. Let me go see him." And then we go see him, and I was like, "He doesn't do anything except acupuncture. He's not a doctor. He's stealing everyone else's information and pretending it's his.
Yeah,
He's
yeah, I've
watching,
heard him about it. The
yeah,
how it is? Acupuncture,
acupuncture, yeah, acupuncture.
action puncture.
But a lot of people do acupuncture. The problem is with this guy, he's getting videos in English from America, copying the videos in Portuguese, and pretending like he's this genius who knows everything. And then you go to him and you realize his clinic does this acupuncture. So I was like, oh, he's not a real doctor. He's just pretending. He's just making YouTube videos because he is a doctor of acupuncture. He
hmm
can pretend he's a doctor of everything and know everything, and he's just fake. And there's another guy as well I watched. My wife
Hmm.
was listening to a guy, Diane. He was a doctor as well, and he'll talk as well. And he's like, I'm a
hmm
real doctor. And then I watched the video of Lair Ribeiro, okay, who is a real doctor. Lair Ribeiro is real,
Yes,
and
the Dr. Lair Ribeiro. I have some books of him.
so he's actually really good. So, but this guy just copied his video word for word. I was like, look at this, Adriana. The guy's just copying Lair
Yeah,
Ribeiro word for word, word for word. He's not doing anything new. He's just looking for videos to sell, and he probably speaks
yeah,
English too.
and I see a lot of a lot of videos that go viral in the outside, like in the US, UK, and there are some people here in Brazil like just copy the video, the exact style, the like the even the way of dressing of the person who made the video. They copy everything and just like translate the context here to the Brazilian people, and it goes viral. And
Yeah, it goes viral because you
I
don't
know
have
the
anyone doing
original
it.
video, and I know the video that was a copy, and I see this, and
Yeah,
uh,
you get disappointed. I mean, if the information is real and they're saying it, it's good. But the problem with these people, you don't know if they're real anymore. So I don't trust these doctors who are not doing interviews because I realize they can just talk whatever they want. Well, the doctors who do interviews are like Boundless Life podcast. That's a guy. I think it's called Boundless Life podcast. Now it was called the Ben Greenfield podcast. He interviews people. He's hyper intellectual. I think this guy definitely has autism, but he speaks in a weird way. But he's really intelligent and interviews all the other great people, doctors, engineers on
hmm
medical issues. And the Human Upgrade podcast, there's a guy called Dave Asprey, and he was he was obese and really sick when he was younger. Now he's very healthy, and he learned to improve his health. And then he started doing these podcasts with people. So I can't remember. I was listening to the podcast yesterday. There's so much podcasts I don't even remember who I listened to. Uh, I don't know who he was talking to yesterday. Who's he talking to
Yeah,
yesterday?
here in Brazil, I think in my vision, okay, so I feel like it's very hard to find good interviewers, you know. So there's not a lot of podcasts that are very good, like the ones that interview. You have those like Inteligência, Flow, the Flow podcast, you know. Uh,
Oh, okay.
for me, in my view, it's like it's not very good. It's like for the general public that want to see MCs and celebrities just talk
Yeah, I
about
don't
their
like those ones.
life.
Yeah. I
So
don't like celebrity podcasts. I don't mind like Joe Rogan interviews celebrities too, but I don't really care about celebrities. I mean, he interviews everyone, but it depends. I nearly like the science one, political ones, or whatever. And people are very non-biased. They're kind of in the middle. You find out when the interview, you get people are very open. They criticize everything, right, left, liberal, conservative. I like that. It's more open
hmm
to discussion. So I mean, again, Joe Rogan's number one. There's another guy, Lex Friedman. But he's more of an intellectual guy. I don't know. I think it's called Lex Friedman podcast.
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I've heard about it.
Yeah, he's super nerdy though, and he wears his suit and tie. And I think he does AI, and he's from the Ukraine originally, or Russia originally. He's a Russian Ukrainian Jew. There you go. That's confusion.
Yeah. Oh yes, there is this podcast with Zelensky.
Oh, he must have interviewed him then. Okay, but
Yeah.
he's more formal in the way he speaks, I think. So he's not as dynamic as the others, but he's a nice person too. He's like
Yes.
open when he asks questions.
Like I've just watched. I just watched the good podcast, and after that there isn't a lot of them to watch it, you know. And then I wanted to start watching the and hearing the Joe Rogan podcast because there's a lot of people that I know that I can get some knowledge. Uh,
Yes, that's the whole
you
point.
know.
So yesterday he interviewed someone else. Uh, he interviewed a guy called Thomas Campbell who wrote a book called My Big Toe. My Big Toe. And toe stands for theory of everything, and it's about his theory of where the world comes from, and we're in a simulation theory. That's what he believes in.
Wow.
It's kind of crazy. I was listening. I was like, "This is crazy." We make up stuff in our head. I was like, "What Joe Rogan?" I think Joe Rogan didn't even know how to talk to him because the guy was because usually Joe Rogan asks so much questions, but this guy kind of dominated the conversation. The guy who interviewed was Thomas Campbell. Okay, but he sounded weird
Yes,
to
and
me.
there are some people that can dominate the conversation. This one I talked to you about, Renato 38, he's very polemic, and a lot of podcasts are very similar. The way he talks, you know. So if the interviewer doesn't have good knowledge about the topic that he's talking about, he just lets him talk,
Sure.
just going. So, but there are a lot of podcasts that I heard some things that were very nice. Then it's very nice, like to open your mind and go search it for yourself and
Yeah, I do that all the
gather
time. Actually,
gather some new knowledge.
when I first found the Joe Rogan podcast, I was like, "Who's this guy? He looks a bit annoying. I don't like his picture. He looks like a crazy person." And and he would curse a lot, and I was like, "I don't want to listen to something because when
He
people curse
does.
a lot, I don't like them because then I think they're less educated." He's like, "Fuck, man." I was like, "Oh, this guy's weird." But then after a while, I just got used to him, and then I found some interesting podcasts, and then I just stuck with him more than anyone else. I was like, "Okay,
Mm-hmm.
he's by far the best." But I have a list of podcasts. I'll tell you, I use one called Player FM. I don't know why I prefer it
Player
than
FM.
Spotify. Yeah, Player FM. That's where I listen to all my podcasts, and I save my one. So so when I wake up in the morning, I'll see all the new podcasts of the ones I subscribe to. So I have, I probably have Lex Friedman. I have the Human Upgrade podcast. I have Sean Ryan. I have another one called Energy Blueprint. They're more health ones. I have I got fun ones. There's one called The Best of Coast to Coast FM,
Hmm.
but they're like silly ones. There are people talking about ghosts and conspiracy theories, but I just listen to that for fun. But they're like short podcasts. They're like 30 minutes long. I have a Spanish
Uh-huh.
football podcast because I used to listen to Spanish football. I don't listen to it now. Um,
Wow.
but I got them all saved, so they all come up in the morning when I turn it on.
Yeah.
These are all podcasts.
I like hearing the podcast when I'm going to work, because I take like 1 hour and a half to go to work. I have to take the bus and then the train. So just put my headphones on and my earphones, and then I go listen. Um, I prefer
Yeah, these
put in the in a higher speed because I
me
feel like
too. I always do.
I feel like it's easier to focus, to get focused, because sometimes people get slower than you. My brain's going faster, and then it's
Yes, but I
a
think we
little bit
trained
harder
ourselves.
to
I think we trained ourselves to listen fast because these podcasts can be 1 hour, 2 hours, or 3 hours. So we put it on the two
go
speed.
faster
And
as
I'm,
well.
yeah, so now when I'm on the two speed, I'm used to the fast speed, and now I can't listen to slow speed. It sounds like people are, I don't know, Mitu Molly. It's like, hurry up. Yeah,
Yeah.
I give you another one. This is a criminal podcast, is one I listen to. I can't find the other one. There's another one I listen to as well. I think it's called the True Case Profile. I don't know. I have them all listed. Let me see. Case File. It's called Case File. It's called. Sorry. That's enough. So that's criminals really good. They talk about unusual crimes in America. So it's not like the criminal where there's murders or the same serial killers. This one is another one. This one's called Case
Case
File. That's a true
file.
crime one from Australia. But I like the guy's voice. He's a really cool voice. There's another one called Sword and Scale. They're like true crime ones, but I don't listen to them all the time. Just sometimes I will listen to them.
So those podcasts like talk about real
Real crimes.
crimes.
Yeah. So Sword and Scale will have in the interviews with
How is
police.
it?
Case File is. I just like the way the guy who narrates Case File is from Australia,
Mhm.
and I like his voice. It sounds really cool. And the criminal one is more unusual crimes. Sometimes they're quite fun. The crimes they're talking about, like with someone killing a tree or something like that. And they'll
Wow.
interview the people as well. So because other ones are just people in their houses talking, Well, this person actually goes out and interviews the people, so it's actually more work involved. So they're the main ones I use. I have a list. I don't know how many podcasts I listen to, but here are just some
A
of them.
lot of.
Yeah, because in between classes, today I'm super busy, by the way. I have no break today. I'm going to be working till 4 o'clock without any break. And other days I might have like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour, sometimes between classes, and I can
Mm-hmm.
listen to something. Okay.
Uh,
Okay, I'm
uh,
going to,
if I have enough time to do the things
yeah,
I
because I'm
want
going to
to.
go back to, remember I was asking about time the other day? I
Yeah,
never actually did my classes because we were talking about
yeah.
other things. So I'll go back
I
again.
I do indeed have time. I have enough time to do everything that I want, about work, about my hobbies, like reading a book or going the train for a run or even going to the gym. But sometimes they're like much more lazy than some days. You know, I don't know if it's like
Well, you can be
uh,
tired. You don't have to be
yeah,
lazy.
no, it's lazy. It's not tired. It is laziness because I feel like I can read or even work out, but I don't know. It's like when you really don't want to do that thing, you just want to like lay in your bed and do nothing
Yeah, but
because
that's okay too. You can have that feeling too.
yeah,
Um, but I mean,
it's
it's only bad if it happens all the time.
no, it's sometimes it's one of those days like you can do focus on something and other things don't work as you wanted to. You know, like work wasn't productive at all, so you wanted to go work out and you didn't woke up early to go to the gym and some days like that. But most of the days. I wake up early, I go to gym, then I work at home or in the office, and then I come back home. I have time like maybe to study something new, a new topic, or get a new book, you know. But I feel like it's necessary. Like you have those days like to do nothing, like just get some rest, you know.
Yeah, I think if I do that, I'm mainly going to watch something on Netflix because that makes you more zombie-like. You're not moving. I don't have to pay
Yeah, you're
attention
just
too
like
much.
absorbing, you know.
You're absorbing all because yeah, books you have to concentrate, and that can be sometimes difficult. I'm not in the mood for reading a book. I just won't read a book. And again, in the morning time, I exercise. I'm somewhat more motivated. Strangely enough, when I'm working all day and sit down and do nothing, it's funny. It takes away my motivation at the end of the day to move.
Yeah, like you said, for me, it's much better if I work out early in the day. Then I have like because all my physical energy I've put in the gym. Then I have just to focus my mental energy. So my body is tired, but my mind can do what I want. If I don't make my body tired, then it makes the like unbalanced, you know,
Sure, yeah.
between those kinds
And
of energy.
I also think as well, when people don't do any exercise, which a lot of people don't, they can't sleep at nighttime because they haven't used up the energy in their body. Some people said there's a syndrome called restless leg syndrome, like your legs kind of kick out in the middle of the night. And they said some people it's cause like some problems with lack of magnesium, but they said these people need to do exercise. They probably don't do any exercise, and it's like their body wants to move at nighttime, you know?
Yeah,
So
the blood circulation or something like that.
yeah,
Okay, so next question. If
does time
time
fly when you're
flies when
having
I have
fun?
fun, of course. Every time, you know, when I'm like going out for a new place with my girlfriend or even uh, working out. For me, it's a fun thing to do, like working out and get to put all the work stress, everything that it's making you annoyed, and you put on the weights, you put on the run make you tired
Mhm.
and then you come back home like much more relaxed,
Better,
you know.
energized. Yeah, you're relaxed and energized at the same time. It's funny, isn't it? It's like some people are too lazy to exercise, but when they exercise, the blood flows and then you get more energy to do things, right?
Yeah. Okay, so if I
Do
think
you ever?
life is a race against time, I think it really depends. Like people, I see that people feel like they are how can I say uh
Some people feel like it's a race. I think in Sao Paulo it feels that way.
yeah, no, people feel like they are late
That's true. Yeah,
in
it's
their
very
own
high.
time for life, so they try
Mm.
to rush everything. So in my view, like life is not a 100-meter race. It's like a marathon. You go have to like building up, like take the little steps and going day after day, week after week, year after year. But sometimes I feel like I am late when I'm compare myself to other people. You know.
No,
Um,
yeah, well, Nicholas, no, you're far more advanced. Do you know what's really strange too? When I'm talking
no,
to a young person,
uh,
what age are you, by the way, Nicholas?
20.
20. Oh, so you're so young. Okay, so you're really young.
So not about the English aspect, but in other aspects of
Yeah, but you're
of life.
reading. You're reading a lot too, and you exercise. Think about the lazy people who do no exercise. 40% of Brazilians are overweight. You're way ahead of that. They're not doing any exercise.
Yeah,
You read books, Nicholas. This is. I said it to my wife. I was saying, I got a young guy here. He reads lots of books, and I was like, no one reads. A lot of people in Brazil don't read books, even all the
yeah. People
intelligent
don't
ones.
do not read books. People do
My,
not read books.
I have students who are
That's
engineers,
true.
doctors, whatever else. They don't read anything. That's why I said to my wife, I was so surprised you said you're reading three
It's true.
books. I was like, this guy's reading so much books. You're far
Yeah,
ahead of
it's
everyone
one of
else.
the things that I can gather more knowledge of it. Like I can absorb more knowledge when I'm focused, like
Yeah, well, that's
reading
good.
about different topics. It's one of the my favorite ways to study, you know. So I get a book, then I go searching it for the topics that I didn't know or
Yeah, so
anything
you're
that
curious.
it's new.
Yeah, and we're lucky now with curiosity. Before, when I was younger, I had to get the encyclopedia, take down the
Yeah, that's true.
encyclopedia and look it up.
My
And my
parents
dad,
used to say that.
my dad had the encyclopedia from the 1970s. My dad had the whole collection, 1975. Then, so it was out of date. Even when I was younger,
Yeah.
looking up stuff. It's crazy. The internet makes everything easier. It's easy to be curious.
Hmm.
But people are not curious. That's what's surprising. My Brazilian students, all the engineers I have, they kind of look the same. They have their glasses and they have their beards. And I asked them, what books do you read? I don't read any books. It's like, oh, you want to listen to podcasts? No. I was like, okay,
No.
it's so strange. They're not curious. And I find them so bizarre that they're not curious.
That's fun. So, yeah. So I think though one of the most times that you like feel worse, it's when you try to compare yourself to others. Like
Yeah, sure.
I can compare myself to others in the same level, like my age. Then I will see that people don't read, don't work out. But
Yeah. And you're
when
healthy,
I
good, then it's
compare
all.
to people that
And
are
you're working.
on the same level or higher, that's when you
You're
feel
gonna,
worse
well,
because you
sure, but
feel
I'm
like
gonna
you're
say
late.
well, you are. That's true, but not in Brazil. You're not late in Brazil, and I don't think you're late in the world. You're still more advanced in the world. So you're already working in your job, and you're 20. That means you're there earlier, because sometimes in Ireland people are there when they're 22, maybe coming out. So you're ahead, Nicholas. You're not behind. And you're way ahead of Brazilians. So in Ireland, I felt somewhat behind because everyone wants to go to college. If you don't go to the top college, you feel like you're behind in Ireland. I didn't go to the top one. I went to the second one, and if you go to the second one, you're behind. Same in America, same in Japan and China. Everyone feels like they're behind if you're not the smartest person and reading everything.
Yeah. And about the different aspects, like when I try to work out or exercise or to go for a run, I always try to have the have better persons than me. Like when it comes to running, or person, someone that is stronger, someone that is more have more resistance to, because it
Well,
motivates
encourage
you
you.
like
Sure. Or
to.
demotivates you. You can have the opposite effect too. You're like, oh my
Yeah,
God, this guy's better than
you
me.
have this both points, like you have to, it kinds of demotivates you, but also motivates you to go after them, chase them, and get
Sure.
better. Yeah.
Well, David Goggins is going to make you feel like you're way behind. That's what I believe. Listen to that guy.
Yeah,
Everyone said they feel lazy and they're not doing
that's
anything after
crazy,
listening to
it's
him.
craziness.
Yeah, but he's over the top. I think he's a disorder. Like he has like a talk for perfection or drive, and he needs to relax a little bit. I think at least that guy does.
Yeah.
Um,
So okay.
what stages in your life do we have all the time in the world?
Well, it really depends, but thinking about that would be like when we are toddlers and when we
Right,
are
exactly.
in our old age, like, because maybe when we retire and we have all the time uh, to enjoy, but we have done much time to enjoy, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand what you mean. Yeah. I think
Uh,
yeah. So maybe
I feel like if we try to schedule everything in our life, we have a time for everything, like a time to work, a certain time to enjoy the little things with family, with
sure.
my girlfriend, with friends. We can have time to,
Yeah, we have to organize our time or schedule our time, and we get things
yeah,
done. So like I have my work time. I know when I'm working from. I always have exercise time before I wake up. I make the dinner in my house, so I got 1 hour to make the lunch. I have to do it really quick. I have to schedule it before. I was like, what am I going to make? Think of it quickly, and then I might have time free for reading or watching movies.
Yeah. Okay. Do you agree
Do you
that
agree
time
that
will
time will
tell?
tell?
Yeah, I agree. I feel like I always think about something that if there's something that I don't want to do, I think to myself if I will regret in the future if I do not do that thing. Uh, for example, an easier example when I'm running, if I don't run that extra mile, am I going to regret the decision to not go further to push myself? This comes to any aspect, and
Sure,
all the
but you
time
put
is
pressure, but you put pressure on yourself. I don't know now because I'm
yeah.
thinking you might be a bit of a perfectionist, Nicholas. Now, so
Yeah,
do you
no,
get
no,
angry
not
if
at
things don't
all.
go work out?
I'm not a perfectionist, but I know that if in the future, when I know when I'm comfortable in my bed, and I know that I did not run that extra mile, I will regret. I
Okay,
know that I could then have done it better,
okay,
and this not just comes to like running, but also like in work or in the studies. If I pushed myself further,
okay.
uh,
But as long as it's not hypercritical, we'll say. It's not too critical. You have to accept that you make a
yes, it
mistake and then you
does.
can do it.
It's like a pressure on yourself above your
What does it
shoulders.
mean? Yeah, you couldn't put so much
Time's an
pressure on your
illusion.
shoulder.
Most time.
Okay, yeah, Douglas Adams was, I can't remember what he wrote now. Something to the Galaxy. What was that movie? Something Galaxy? I can't remember. That was his book, I think. So this is what he said anyway. It's more of a joke, I'm guessing. Time is an illusion, lunchtime doubly so. Do you agree?
Wow, I really don't know. I think about time. Uh,
Time,
l-
time is real for me.
it's
It does
it's
exist.
relative. It's like
Yeah.
relative. But when you're suffering, like time, will seem that it goes much slower than
Yeah,
when you're having fun.
sure.
So I think it's all about the perception of each one.
It can be. I agree as well. But we'll just say we have time, but we make up time ourselves. Like there's no such thing as lunchtime. He's kind of saying. I can kind of guess what he means because when's lunchtime? Is it 12 o'clock? When's
Yeah,
dinner time? It's like in Brazil, you eat your big dinner at lunchtime. And in Ireland, the big dinner is at dinner time at six
at
o'clock
dinner
or
time.
something.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so it's different. Okay, this is a similar question, but I'll ask it anyway. Einstein said the only reason for time is so that everything doesn't happen at once. What do you think of this quote?
I think everything has to build up first, all the great things in life, it has to have some steps first to build itself, then it can like happen once
Well,
for all.
I think what he means in this case is that we can't do everything at the same time. So we can't have lunch, we
Yeah,
can't exercise, we can't go to
yeah,
the
that's
toilet at the same
true.
time.
That's true.
So so
There
time
was
to
a
organize your day.
there was a certain time in my life when I was trying to get in the college, and I was like really worried about if I was going to get in the college, if I was going to be uh, uh, l- late when comparing to other people. So I was trying to do everything at the same time, like try to work out, try to study, try to hang out with friends, and this doesn't work out. It's really frustrating because you try to do everything at once, but then everything just like fails. It's not
Sure,
good.
yeah.
You're not
Conflict too
like
much on your plate.
studying the right way. You're like studying poorly.
Hmm.
So it's frustrating. We have to
Well, I guess
schedule
you, but I think you're probably
our
work quite well with
objectives.
your study. You probably study quite. When did you go to college, by the way? Because you're 20 working. So did you go to college earlier?
I finished this semester.
Oh, so you're new. Okay, so you just finished because we're 20. That's what I was wondering. Because but how long was your course? 3 years?
3 years, three
3
years
years. Okay, yeah, it depends. Because
in
in Ireland we
technology.
generally go. Yeah, we generally go to college when we're 18. So we wouldn't finish till we're 21 at least.
Yeah,
I'm some courses though are longer. They might be even 22 because some courses become 4 year courses. I was just wondering then because yeah, okay, 17 you start. Yeah, in
I
Brazil you go a
entered
little
college
earlier.
with 17. Then 1 month after I've turned 18, and then I'm going to turn into 21 now in February.
Oh,
So it
okay. Well,
was 3 years, 3 heavy years.
3 heavy
But
years. Okay, we'll
yeah,
pretend they were good years. We'll lie to ourselves. Good, fun years.
yeah, but it was good because I've met a lot of people, you know. So I think the best thing was the networking with people, not
Network.
the subjects themselves.
Sure.
How do you like to spend time? Well, I think
Running,
this
reading.
question,
Yeah, I think we can
yeah,
answer that one before. Running and reading, it seems to be something you like
yeah,
with your
having fun
family.
with friends, with my
Okay.
girlfriend, with my
I'll
family.
ask you the next question then, because this can be happening in Brazil. Does it annoy you when people take their time doing things?
Yeah, yeah, a lot.
It
Yeah,
does? Okay. Traffic is bad in Sao Paulo. I don't know. It doesn't. I have patience, but I hate when it's incompetent. Like in the supermarket, they don't open up the tills and they leave only two
yeah.
tills open. Everyone has to queue forever. It's like, why don't they open up a new one? Doesn't make sense.
Uh-huh.
Nicholas, our time's up. Take care.